Do you ever think about why some apps feel so easy to use? Whenever you open an app, whether it's Netflix, Amazon, or a food delivery app, you somehow know where to click, where to search, and what to do next. But here's the interesting part. The app doesn't actually tell you what to do, and yet we can use it almost automatically. But how? This is where UI and UX design come in. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Subhi, a UI UX designer, and today we're going to start with the absolute basics. What exactly is UI? What is UX? What's the difference between the two? And most importantly, what does a UI UX designer actually do? So, let's get started. Okay, so first, let's understand what UI actually means. UI stands for user interface. Now, in simple words, whenever you open an app on a website, everything you see and interact with on the screen, like buttons, icons, images, text, colors, layout, and navigation, all of these are part of the UI. For example, let's take a food delivery app. You have a search bar, different food categories, product cards, and an add to cart button. All of these elements together make up the user interface of the app. And here's one common confusion I want to clear up. UI does not mean Figma. Figma is simply a design tool that designers use to create interfaces. UI is actually the final interface that users see and interact with. Now, here's something interesting. UI is literally everywhere. Think about the apps you use every day. On Netflix, you have movie cards, categories, search, and navigation. On Amazon, you have product cards, filters, search, and the add to cart button. And on Blinkit, you have categories, product listings, search, and checkout. These may look like simple element, but every one of them is designed to help you find information, make decisions, and take action. So whenever you're using an app or a website, take a moment to notice what you're seeing and clicking. That's UI in action. Now, having all these UI elements doesn't automatically make an interface good. A good UI should be clear, consistent, accessible, and easy to interact with. For example, visual hierarchy helps users understand what they should notice first. Clarity makes it obvious what each element does. Consistency means similar elements look and behave in a similar way throughout the product. Accessibility helps make the interface usable for people with different needs and abilities. And interaction is about how the interface responds when users click, tap, or perform an action. So good UI isn't just about making a screen look beautiful. It's about making the interface easy to understand and use. Okay, so now we know what UI is. But what UX? UX stands for user experience. And unlike UI, UX is not just about what we see on the screen. It's about the overall experience a user has while using a product. Let's go back to our food delivery app. Imagine you open the app, find your favorite food, add it to your cart, and place your order. If you can do all of this easily without getting confused or stuck, that's a good user experience. But if you can't find the search option, the checkout process is confusing, or there are too many unnecessary steps, then the experience becomes frustrating. So UX focuses on things like user needs, usability, user flow, and the overall journey. In simple words, UI is about the interface, UX is about the experience. Okay, let's understand the difference between UI and UX with a really simple example. Our ketchup bottle. First, look at the bottle itself. Its shape, label, colors, typography, end cap design are all part of how the product is visually presented. That's our UI analogy. Now think about actually using the bottle. Is it easy to hold? Is it easy to squeeze? Does the ketchup come out easily? And can you get the right amount without making a mess? That's about the experience of using the product, our UX analogy. So even if a ketchup bottle looks really attractive, if it's difficult or frustrating to use, the overall experience isn't great. And that's the basic difference between UI and UX. UI focuses on what you see and interact with. UX focuses on how the overall experience works for you. Okay, let's understand. So now that we've seen the example, let's put UI and UX side by side. UI, or user interface, focuses on the interface itself. Things like colors, typography, buttons, icons, layout, and interactions. UX, or user experience, focuses on the overall experience, understanding user needs, making the product easy to use, planning the user journey, and solving usability problems. So the roles are different, but they work closely together. Think about it this way. You can have a beautiful looking app, but if users don't know what to do next, the experience isn't great. And even if the user journey is well planned, a confusing interface can still make the product difficult to use. That's why we need to think about both UI and UX when creating a digital product. So now you might be wondering, what does a UI UX designer actually do? And no, it's not just about making screens look good. A designer usually starts by understanding the problem and the users. What does the user need? What problem are they facing? And what are they trying to achieve? Based on that, designers can create user flows and wireframes to plan how the product should work. Then comes the visual design, where we work on the interface, including things like layout, typography, colors, buttons, and other UI elements. After that, we can create a prototype to see how the experience works. And then comes something really important, testing and feedback. We see where users are getting confused or facing problems, and then we improve the design. So a UI UX designer isn't just designing screens. They're using design to solve problems and create a better experience for the user. Alright, before we wrap up, let's do a quick recap. UI stands for user interface. It's what users see and interact with, things like buttons, colors, typography, icons, and layout. UX stands for user experience. It's about the overall experience, how easy, useful, and smooth it is for the user to complete their goal. So UI and UX are not the same thing, but they're closely connected. UI focuses more on the interface. UX focuses more on the experience. And we see where users are getting confused or facing problems, and then we improve the design. So a UI UX designer isn't just designing screens. They're using design to solve problems and create a better experience for the user. Video? I hope you now have a clear understanding of what UI and UX are, how they're different, and why both matter in digital product design. But this is just the beginning. If you're completely new to UI UX and want to learn it step by step, make sure you stay connected. In the upcoming videos, we'll talk about design principles, the UI UX design process, user research, wireframing, typography, colors, and much more. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for the next lesson. And remember, good design starts with understanding the user. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.